Hello and welcome to Designing Repeat Motif Patterns on 8 Shafts. I'm going to share with you some of the ways I do designing using a summer-winter threading and a point twill overshot threading. Before I get started on the details, I'd like to share with you a little bit about my studio and what I like to do when I'm setting up to do some designing. First of all, I'd like to have warps on my loom where I can actually test the patterns. Sometimes when you're doing them on a computer or perhaps on a piece of paper and then you transfer what you've designed onto the loom, it doesn't quite look the same. For me, I like to go and try them out on the loom. And one of the things I do, so I don't get bored, I like to dye all my warps. In the beginning, I mostly used white yarn and maybe some off-white colors. Now it's more fun to do some dyeing. And then what happens is I have different sections. In this one, I have blue and green and 2 shades of purple. What happens is I can be weaving away with one color and then the yarn changes without me having to rethread the loom. Makes it a little bit more interesting and also doesn't get boring. I also sometimes dye my weft yarn as well. Here's a picture of some of the yarn that's getting ready to be wound on a loom. I use for the warp most of the time 8/2 and also sometimes 6/2 unmercerized cotton. For the patterns, I use 3/2 mercerized cotton, and then for the tabby and the patterns, often use either 10/2 or even 20/2. Here's one of the warps as it came off the loom. I rolled it up. I call this my fabric geode. You can see all the colors for the towels as well as a little peek at some of the motifs. Let's take a look now on the summer and winter threading. And I do have to say that I've been inspired by Virginia West and also a sheep pattern that was in handwoven years ago. I took Virginia West 8-shaft class a few months after I purchased my first 8-shaft loom. It was my second loom. She offered different days of doing twills, Bronson lace, huck lace, and summer winter. At that time, we didn't have a computer to use to do our drawdowns. We had to use graph paper and pencils. This is a page from my notebook. The larger, the darker piece is what I did to design some placemats, some table runners. But at the same time, I started thinking about smaller motifs. And the little face there you see with the glasses and the beard, that's my husband. I never did weave his little face across a towel, but I did something close to it. Summer-winter threading has different variations, or different treadling variations. They're in units, and that's another whole lesson in itself to how to thread your loom and how to weave them. The basic ones from the book of A Weaver's Book of 8-Shaft Patterns by Carol Strickler, she has columns, one called brick effect, pairs O's, and pairs X's. The bottom 2 on the right are taken from her book. You can see the bottom one is a column, and the one right above it is a brick. Here's an example of what they might look like on a drawdown on the computer. You can see the one on the left is columns. There's several columns there. You can see the straight lines. And the one on the right is staggered like bricks. What I discovered is the class that I actually took from Virginia, we did columns. The one on the right is bricks. If you look in some of the books, that's what people are using. I found out that that's a little more difficult to design with, to have a lot of variations because of the staggering effect. The patterns that I've designed are mostly, well, basically all of them are with the column treadling. Threadings are the same. Shortly after I took the class, I found this magazine article, decided to weave the sheep, and some of you are probably familiar with that. In this pattern, though, you have to weave with 3 shuttles at one time. A little bit of a juggling act. I'll talk about that shortly. The first pattern that I actually designed was very simple, my pumpkins. If you look, the pumpkins are kind of shaped like the sheep without a face. What happened was I designed these, started weaving them, and shared them on social media. All of a sudden, people were saying, "Where'd you get the pattern?" "Well, I made the pattern." "Would you share the pattern?" "I don't know." I'm thinking, I want to keep this pattern for myself. Well, eventually, I did share the pattern, and it is available in my shop. At the same time, though, you saw the other warp was white. More recently, probably the last 5 or 6 years, I've been dyeing my warps, and here's what the pattern looks like woven on a dyed warp. Then it was time to think about what else could I do with those pumpkins? Why not put faces in them? So we have jack-o'-lanterns. Then I remembered, you know what? I actually made these patterns years ago. I found this little sampler that I made with the trees, Santa faces, snowmen, and candles. Well, now up to the future. What happened was I was weaving those, and I had those other patterns available. And what happens is people start saying, "Can you weave alpacas? Can you weave goats? Can you weave whatever?" Here are the couple of patterns that were woven from people's request. If you take a note that the body of both of those animals are kind of round like the pumpkin. What I was doing at the beginning was using my old patterns and adapting them to new patterns. Now I've created a cheat sheet for myself that gives me opportunities to kind of put puzzles together and pick and choose. I'll give you a glimpse of that in a minute. This pattern, again, was a request of a friend who said, "My daughter likes skulls. Can you create skulls?" This pattern was in the magazine, in Handwoven magazine, last September, October. So if you want the pattern, it's accessible to you. Here's the drawdown of the pattern, and this is where you get a glimpse at the threading pattern for the particular summer-winter threadings that I do. You can see that they're in groups or they are in units. Let's take a look at a closer part of this. What I was talking about earlier, and I'm hoping my pointer shows up on this recording, that in summer, winter, and overshot, you often throw your pattern thread across, then your tabby, then one pattern and tabby. However, whenever would like to have two in one line, what you do is you throw a tabby, this is the black eye, and then the white for the skull part, then the tabby. That's what was shown in the sheep pattern that I did that was in Handwoven magazine in 1990. That's how that is done. It looks a little kind of spread out right now. However, once it's washed and dried, it looks like this pattern. And that's why I like to try them on the loom. Sometimes, again, I see it, it looks really good, and then I start weaving it and wash it. It just doesn't look right. This is also one of the patterns, the towels that happen to be between two colors on the warp, and that's another fun thing. It's fun when I come to that particular space on my warp and go, this is going to be fun because I'm going to have two different colors on this towel. A couple of weeks ago, a weaver asked me if I could weave bicycles. Right away, I'm thinking, I don't know how symmetrical they are. She did this little graph picture, sent it to me. Now, her threading is more of a rose path threading. I think she was thinking that I might use that for my overshot. I told her that I think this pattern just might work out better if it was in a summer-winter threading. However, I said, I don't know how I can do an asymmetrical, the picture with the bicycle bars there. Well, I went to my cheat sheet. This might look like who knows what's going on here. However, what I often do with this one, if you take a look at, well, actually the shape here right now, the shape, it's a triangle. If you flipped it upside down, it'd be a tree and you could add a stem. Right now, though, I have this block, and if I go across and I want to use that block, and then I go up, I can see what tie-up I want to do. Here's another one, a set of 3. Take note, though, there are sets of odd numbers. That's what needs to be used for this. There's also limitations with the number of shafts. If I increased it to 12, I know I could do a lot more designing. However, most people out there don't have 12-shaft looms. I'd like to keep with the 8 shaft in my designing, for now anyway. This is the bicycle I came up with. Again, I told her that, you know what, we're going to have 2 of these. Decided this is the seat and this is the handlebars. If she wanted to use like a pickup stick or something to eliminate one of those, she could do that, or any of us could. I have not been able to test that pattern, so has not been made public yet. She's testing it out. Once I have my loom that's threaded that I can test it, we'll see if it becomes public or not. The other patterns that I like to do are the 8 shaft overshot figures. This time I'm giving a shout out to Nellie Burnham and Carol Strickler. I'm going to start this time with my cheat sheet. This is what I use when I'm trying to design patterns with overshot. If you take a look, there's no tabby in this one. When I do my summer winter, I like to keep the tabby in. If I did that with this one, they really get distorted, and it's best for me to keep the tabby out. And even when I share the patterns, I remind people they have to put the tabby in themselves. Same thing with the other one. Goes over this time, well, not the same thing. This time it goes over 1 thread, and this time 3 threads. Now remember, they're very, very small. Now if you do use just 1 thread, sometimes it doesn't show up enough, and you also might have a very long float on the back, or in this case, a very long float in the front. And I have another sheet that I use to help me with that. No, I do not have this many treadles. This just gives me all the different options for designing. This was from Nellie's booklet. Her cat had eyes in it, and her cat did. The one cat did not have tails. The other thing in her pattern, they were for. See all the numbers here? This was for table looms, and this is representing the numbers are representing the levers as you pull them down. I don't have a table loom. I wanted to use this pattern for my floor loom. What I had to do is I had to transfer all of that information, kind of switch it around, and then decide if I have enough treadles or not. Sometimes, if you would count all the different treadles that she has in here, or lines, there's not enough treadles to do. Sometimes I had to take some things away. For example, the eyes didn't really show up, took those away and added a cat. And I'll show you what I do if I need more treadles. These are the cats. Of course, first we have the black ones, solid, and then I thought it might be fun to do some colored, speckled ones. So I dyed some of the yarn and then wove that. Now you have like calico cats. Here are some of the samples of some of the other patterns that have been designed. We have, of course, the cats, have trees, little bunnies, and the sheep. Now that one was designed, that's the other time when I can do 2 different colors at one time, or 2 different colors in one towel. And just kind of for fun at first was the blue and the yellow. Of course, this was a fundraiser for the Ukraine also, this towel. I had another customer say, "Can you weave bulls?" Her daughter is in veterinary school and is spending some time on a ranch. I'm still not thrilled with the way these turned out. However, she was happy with them. We had to play around with the horns, the length, the body, some other things. And then she got the pattern. I did not plan on making it public, except she actually emailed me later and said, "I'm very ill. Would you please weave those for me so I can give them to my daughter?" These are the tails that were woven, and she does have them now. And the pattern is public. I still like to tweak it a little bit. My favorite pattern are the bees. This was another one where someone asked, "Can you do honeybees?" This one, though, is where I didn't have enough treadles to do everything I wanted. If you notice here, there's a 2, pressing 2 and 8 at the same time. And then over here, we did 1 and 3. Works great with the jack loom. Those of you with counter marsh looms, you know you can't press 2 treadles at one time. It was either try to come up with a skeletal tie-up, or what I did from one customer, I just changed the body a little bit. It's missing, I think, this line here. There are 2 of these, and the antenna I had to tweak a little bit. Here are the honeybees, all woven up. And then we also make sure that all of our weavings are dog tested. Thank you so much for listening. And I hope everyone has a great rest of your day.